Hey YouTube, we're working on an oldie, a golden oldie, a 98 Oldsmobile Cutlass, and a power steering growling was the complaint. And it was very easy to diagnose, for the power steering hose was right here, squirting all over everything. So we got to put a power steering hose on it. So stay tuned, let's get it done. To start with, let's get that serpentine belt off of here. Should give us a little room to get to the line here on the back side. Alright, I'm going to leave my ratchet right there. Right underneath here is, looks like a 13 or a 14 millimeter to the bottom of the line. Should have known that. It's a 15 mil. Let's keep guessing. Let's try a 16. Should have known that, actually. Now, if everything goes well, yeah, she broke loose. Coming right in this back side of the power steering. Alright, so we got the line out. Pull it this way, and it's going to go down through here. There's a bracket on the back side. Looks like we're going to have a 15 mil socket going to the top of the alternator there. Let's take that ratchet back. Set the nut right there. Pull the bracket up out of there. I'm going to go ahead and take this little bracket off and put it there. Now we got to take the car up, go down to the rack and pinion unit. Okay, with the car up in the air looking through the driver's side, right through that little hole through the subframe right there, you're going to see an 18 mil sitting there. Now it's not going to be easy to break loose. What I used was a short 18 millimeter open end wrench, and then I used a pry bar to break it loose and get it out of there. So otherwise you can drop the subframe or do something like that and get it out that way. Anyway, I'm knocking the camera around because it's right only way I can get you a view of it. See if I can back up a little bit. And you're gonna have like a half a turn at a time. Crow's foot you could use through the side there. You might could break it loose with that. If you can at all get it loose enough to spin it by hand. or be that fortunate to, which I am, and it's out of there. Once that's out, you get a little bracket coming across, a little plastic coming across the line, and you're just going to pull the line down and around and out through the top. So we'll twist it out and then tuck it back down in there. All right, once you got the car down, you're reaching down through by the alternator here. You got to pull your hose up through there. Put your new O-rings on your new hose and start weeding it back down in there again. Main thing is to get it close, because then you go down to the bottom and you connect it. So we are kind of down there. I'm going to take the car back up. All right, underneath, wiggling in underneath the rear motor mount bracket, getting it started in the rack and pinion right here. Take that in about as far as you can by hand, and take the little plastic strap that holds it in place, run it over the top of it, and latch it in. Whoop. All right, once it's latched in and you're looking through the top, I can see it's in the perfect place. It does not have to be all that tight. So a short snap-on wrench will be sufficient. Now, if the old one gives you too much of a fit getting the nut out, remember the old line, you can cut the tube on the line right at the rack and put a socket on it and take it out that way. What you can also do, just to make sure that it's tight enough, is the same thing that I did when I took it off with a pry bar. And you can probably get up in here and do something like this. Camera's in my way as I'm trying to do this, but anyway. Hold your wrench up underneath it and just pry. And that's going to be tight. Let's lower the car now and go back up top. We're finished on the bottom. No extremely close-ups here, but anyway. Part number, I should have given you a Duralast from AutoZone right there. Can we see it yet? There we go. A 91960 Duralast power steering pressure hose. Cost $24. All right. Now our hose is already up here, and we're going to tuck it right around here. And we're going to grab this bracket though. All right, put that back on the way I took it off. That bracket on the back. Working right down in here. This 13 mil going to the power steering pump. It has started. Really feels kind of funny though. It's after a weekend. You know what I mean? It was a 16. Alright, so a 16 mil gear wrench. It's really, really close in there. As you bounce up off of your power steering bracket, or excuse me, pulley. So you can only get a little ways with it at a time. All right. That is tight. Now, back down here to our bracket. It goes behind our power steering. Our 15 millimeter nut. Not touching anything, not near our belt. That looks really good. All right, tightening up our bracket back here. Get our belt back on, since we didn't take our belt all the way off. Hoping that it didn't fall off of the rest of the pulleys and things, that we can get this thing back up here, circled around, without having to look up a diagram and all those things. I always like to put belts back on a smooth pulley. Make sure it's lined up on all of our pulleys, the belt's on. Next thing to do is to fill it up with power steering fluid. Let's get our cap off here. Now you got to burp all the air out of this thing. There's a lot of procedures and stuff for that. Let's get some fluid in here. Let's leave it right there. Take the car up just a little bit. Wheels off the ground on the front. Let's start it. Or not, actually, not going to start it. Turn the wheel back and forth without the car running. Lock to lock. Get it back straight. Now crank it up. Now let's finish bleeding the air out of it, filling the fluid up. She's growling. Don't know if you can hear that. Whoa, I didn't realize I was even that close. Alright, we got to suck some of that fluid out of there. Clean up our mess, of course. Turkey baster would be nice about now. I'm going to turn the car off now. I can see the air bubbles in it. Let it set. Pull some of my fluid out. Once the air bubbles are gone, I'll start it up again. Well, that's your 98 Oldsmobile Cutlass power steering pressure hose replacement. Burped the air out, cleaned everything up. She's quiet. Had to get it on the road between all my other work. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope that helps. I know there's not many of those out there. Talk to you soon.